Whoa, welcome to this exciting episode of Geekshow Arcade.
We have news!
We got
news! We got
waited
to talk
an
about.
entire-
Lando's engaged and excited!
Lando's
Let's
the one once a
freaking
year. Once
go!
maybe twice a year we get Lando really engaged. One of them
and this
Nintendo
is that
Direct.
time.
This is this
Wow. Lando talked over me for once.
in the game show, nonetheless, Jaron.
I know.
Game show.
What kind of bizarro world are we living in?
I
This is
think
Geek
we
Show.
should make-
This is
let's-
shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Cook!
This
Let
is the
him
Geek
cook,
Show.
Owen.
This is the Geek Show Arcade, where I talk about video games and video game related things. Let's kick it off by introducing our panelists. He's Owen. He was quiet for me.
Yes, that means I get to say this.
Yes.
I think as punishment, Lando should have to have nothing to say this whole episode because he never says anything in the other episodes.
For
Oh,
what?
a little payback, huh?
Ah,
Easy
for
there,
what? He just
Shorzy.
told you.
Also, I'm Owen. Follow me on
just so,
here.
okay, so you're saying because I don't talk in the other episodes, my punishment is I can't talk in this episode?
That's right. You have to maintain your form.
Yeah, it's like
You're freaking everybody out by being all active in here. You know?
He muted himself. He's
It's like the
You won't
punishment
be able to-
where
you won't be able to.
I
hang
know
on
what
to
I'm
it.
not
you
wanted.
give someone way
You
too
won't
much of
be
that
able-
thing until
no, you
they
don't
hate
know.
it.
You don't know when you're not wanted. Also, you can't handle it. You'll be back.
he's already back. He's
We
Lando.
need, we need your high energy for this.
Owen, shut up.
Sorry, I'm already back.
It's Lando's
up.
turn.
you know,
it's Lando's turn.
I
We're
tried
talking about
again. I tried to
Nintendo
just
stuff.
keep
We're
things-
talking about- There was a
it's
very
here's
important game
Lando.
announcement. There was one game announcement that was more important than
And
all
there's
the others.
Jaren. We got Jaren.
We'll get to that game announcement, Lando. I thought of you when I saw it.
I know.
Jaren.
Hey, Jaron.
There, hey Jaren.
Hey, my name's Lando. Did I say that?
Oh,
My
he's
name's
not
Lando.
respecting.
I'm
he's
cooler
not
than I'm
respecting
cooler than
that.
Owen
He-
tonight.
you
I'm
have
waiting
to
for
say
Lando to finish, and then I will go because I respect
ahead,
Lando's
Jared. I'm
boundaries.
done. I'm
Thank
done.
you.
Gross.
All right, I'm Jaron. You can find me on Blue Sky at Jaronius.
Gross.
And
That
we
was
got a host, Tony.
That's me. Check me out on Blue Sky at Quad T or on other Geek Show podcasts. All right. We got a few other stories before we get to the meat and potatoes that is the Switch 2 announcement. So we're going to get those out of the way quick and then spend the rest of the time on the Switch news because it is really neat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
I got some good stories in there.
Before the Switch news happened, yes, last week, there was a big press event for Doom, The Dark Ages.
What about emails?
And then we had emails. I didn't know we had any. Wait, hang on. Do we have any emails?
No, we don't.
Oh,
Got him.
All right. So what's the email, Jaron?
We
You
don't
made a
have any
stink.
he
emails.
said no.
You made a stink.
Yeah, because you didn't follow the procedure, and so I just
did.
had to point that
I
out.
went off. I went
we
off
have
script.
an SOP, Tony.
Yep. All right. So, like I was saying, Doom: The Dark Ages was shown off at a press event. The press people got to play a couple hours of it, and I just linked to the video that Digital Foundry did because, well, I mean, I'm a Digital Foundry simp, first of all, but secondly, it was a very good video explaining what the new stuff is on
Boy,
Doom:
howdy!
The Dark Ages.
This looks good.
Holy cow! It's not just a visual upgrade, but it is that as well, and it is quite an awesome visual upgrade. They're doing all the ray tracings, all kinds of neat graphical things like no LODs and
Virtual geometry,
virtual-
similar to what
Nano-
Unreal Engine does with Nanite.
nanite. That's what I'm thinking of.
Looks good, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the textures look mightily updated versus Doom Eternal.
And they have so many more enemies all at once now.
Dozens and
similar
dozens
to
of enemies.
previous Dooms.
Yes.
So it kind of harkens back to the original Dooms from the 90s, just the sheer amount of enemies on the map, which
Yep.
is sweet. And there's like giant wide open areas, unlike the other two games, which were more corridory.
Yeah, it's not claustrophobic. It's not you get into an area and then all the exits are sealed until you defeat every enemy. He said specifically, if you want to, you can just cruise past a group of enemies onto the next area, and but you have to deal with them if you ever have to go back to that area too. So, but
I'm excited for that because my main complaint about Doom Eternal was that they forced you to play a very specific way, and if you didn't, too bad, you would die.
that's
This
true.
seems more open to
Mm-hmm.
doing what you want.
Yep.
Which I'm excited for.
And they've beefed up the physics of the game as well. There's a lot more interactive objects and shelters and things that can crumble as you destroy them. and the ray tracing and ambient occlusion applies to all the pieces as they're destroyed as well, so the shadows all look realistic the entire time. Like, they've put a lot of work into this, and I'm very excited. I think it looks freaking cool. Doom the Dark Ages. All right, next. Owen's had this story on there for a little bit. Blizzard rolls back World of Warcraft hardcore deaths.
Oh yeah, I added this last time. This is new.
Yeah, that's what I said.
They had a DDoS attack, and so for the first time ever in history, they rolled back the hardcore server because
with hardcore,
lagged out.
When your
Yeah,
character dies,
That's it.
That's the end of that character, right?
That's right.
There's
That's
no
it.
resurrection, no
It's
respawn.
over. You restart. So there's some people that have been alive on hardcore for ages, and they got dead, and so they rolled it back. That's all. It was a DDoS attack, and it was newsworthy because it's the first time they've ever done it.
Sweet. Move
neat.
on. Next story.
Next we have it's kind of a bummer of a story here. Intel was planning on doing mid-range GPUs to compete with like the 5070 and AMD 9070 and 9070 XT, those kinds of cards, and they announced that they're not working on it. They're bagging it.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's a bummer because
What a bummer.
competition in the marketplace would have been super great at that level. So the B580 is the best you're going to see from Intel this round,
Dang.
which
I
is
like
still
those.
a great
They're-
bang for your buck.
It is,
GPU, but it would have been cool to see them kind of stretch
I
their
love it
legs
because
a
it
little bit.
makes NVIDIA in particular have to go, maybe we have to compete on price here a little bit.
Yep,
If-
exactly.
If people are going to go to mid-range stuff and just be good enough, maybe we need to come down a little.
Yep.
Yep. Next
All
story.
right.
Jeez, Lando, settle down.
Owen found an April Fool's story that he
I
liked
did.
enough to put on here, even though he hates April Fools.
Even so, it's psextreme.com put out a story, and this is one of the ones that came through for me that I was like, oh, wait a second, when was this issued? So I checked, and it was April Fool's.
Did you get fireflied?
Nope, I didn't. Not this
Are
time.
you sure?
Not this time. Not this time, Tony.
Okay.
This one was a warning. They said Sony issues a warning for. Sorry, the site is apparently taking
Takes forever to load.
Yeah, holy cow.
But I'm in there now. Microscopic arachnid contamination
On
in
the
DualSense
On the
controllers.
DualSense controllers, and they did a picture of it.
It's creepy
and
looking this
it's
picture.
creepy. So
First of all, these arachnids have too many legs.
they definitely AI generated.
yeah.
Here, right? This is definitely an AI generated picture. But keep your controller sealed in a cool environment when not in use. Avoid using the controller in humid conditions, which might encourage spider activity. And do not open the controller casing, as this may disturb the arachnids further.
Keep it closed.
So
Keep them inside.
yeah. And Sony has announced no plans for recall.
Well,
So anyway, I like that the comment here is, or the author is a totally real person.
yeah. Believable. Real
there you
person. There was
That was a late edition the other night before we decided to.
the one April Fool's joke I saw that kind of made me laugh was actually a real product that D Brand put out, super limited edition. It's called their Touch Grass skins, and it's like super fine, short AstroTurf that you can get from them to put on your devices, like
Really?
a skin from D Brand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked like that on that controller just now.
Yeah, exactly. It looked a little bit like this fuzziness on the controller. But yeah, they're actually selling them, and they said they've made a batch, and once the batch is done, they're never doing them again. So it's super limited edition, but it's their kind of April Fool's.
So in that same
thing.
vein of April Fools, I can't decide if the next story I had to bring it here because I wasn't sure if it's April Fools about the holographic fans.
This is a real thing. Yeah.
These if they're real, they look totally cool.
Yep.
That you can do because we've gone to CES and they've had that for a while with the spinning holograms, right? And I'm like, where would you ever put a spinning? But apparently, your cooling fans on your GPUs and your case fans, it's a great place to do holographic holographic displays. So
I would love that for like temps and frame rates and
If you could put,
Yeah.
yeah,
you
like
can put
monitoring
whatever,
on it.
Yeah, I think you can. You probably can put whatever image in there, but it's not live though. You do have to upload a graphic.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
you
it's
just
like a
it's a
GIF or
GIF
something.
basically.
yeah,
yeah, that's too bad.
It's a Giphy gift.
They're $46 a
will.
piece too. So
I
Yeah,
think
it's a
it's
little bit
pricey
higher
real
than normal,
fast.
but like
Am I
some of
saying
them,
Lars?
like
Can you guys
one of
hear
the
me?
ones here, you
Yeah.
could do talking to Lang here. He could get his Gundam on inside of his case there.
yeah, yep.
doing some
phrasing.
there's- Right. I'll accept it. I'll allow it. But Halo, some stuff. Anyway, I thought these fans were really cool, and I was like, I think this is not April Fools, but
Yeah, these are the real deal. I hope they work
Coolify
good
coming
as,
out from Coolify.
I hope they work good as fans as well, and they don't.
I
Just
know,
look
right?
pretty. So
They're like, look, you get to choose, okay?
you want it to be pretty, or you want it to work good?
Yeah, right.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty neat stuff.
Gee,
All
that's
right.
neat.
Last but not least, before we get to the Nintendo stuff, you guys remember talking about how the NVIDIA 580s, 590s all had, not all, but there were a batch that went out of those that had missing ROPs,
Oh yeah,
missing
right.
performance because not all the clusters were enabled. Well,
Did Jaron get one of those?
no,
no.
I got a good one.
He
Bummer.
got a good one.
Bummer.
That would have been so much fun. Had that
You've
have
just
happened to you.
declared war on me, Lando.
And after
gonna
Lando's
get
been
you
so
back
nice to
so
you
hard.
today.
It's true. I take that back, Jared. I'm sorry.
Okay,
So-
you're forgiven.
Here's the thing about that. Zotac has decided, any of those that were returned, we'll just slap a sticker on them that says what their actual ROPs are and sell them as B stock.
I actually
No
don't
way.
disagree with that.
Yeah.
If it's cheaper and it's advertised as
Right.
such, go
and
ahead.
then you're getting what
Right?
you're getting
Yeah.
what it says on the box. You know, it's just funny that you would think Nvidia would want all of those back because of the shame.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Nope. Not
even if
after
they
AIB's
ask for
got
them back, apparently Zotac's like, nah, we'll keep them, we'll sell them,
Yeah.
we'll take $100 off and sell them.
Yeah. And people are buying them.
Yeah, so they're gonna have 590. They're calling it the 590D, 168 instead of 176 ROPS. The 580, which is 104 instead of 112, and the 5070. Did I say 580? 5080. 5070 Ti 88 instead of 96 ROPS. But yeah, they'll be.
Remember when EVGA was cool and did AIBs?
Oh man,
No.
EVGA was my favorite.
Man.
I respect their decision, seeing how Nvidia's been treating the AIBs the last 2 generations.
Yeah,
But I really miss them.
it felt like a rage.
What,
Felt like
Lando? What'd you say?
I don't think anyone cares. You're saying letters I don't even recognize.
That's just because you never pay attention when we talk about stuff.
That's probably true.
All
I'm
right.
paying attention right now.
Yeah, it's paying off for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking stupid.
Womp womp. Anyway, Zotac, there you go. Now that Lando has taken the steam out of the
Just pulled the whole wind out of our sails.
the
there,
wind
Tony.
out of the sails,
We were
steam
That
out
was
of
the
the
point.
steam
we
out of the
were-
canister.
We were
was the
reminiscing
point.
about EVGA. You know, I felt like that was a rage quit, though. To be fair.
Oh, it did
EVGA,
definitely feel like
it was
that.
a rage
Yeah.
quit.
Have they done anything significant since?
No, they still have their power supplies and their other few accessories, but I mean, I'll be honest. When they said they were done with GPUs, I kind of wrote them off as a company because that was like 90% of their revenue,
Of
80%
what
of
they
their revenue.
do, yeah.
And so,
It's like if Zotac stopped doing it.
right, and
You'd
so
be
the
like,
pro-
what else do you do, Zotac?
the problem now is they still make great PSUs, but are they going to be around for 10 years to cover the warranty on their 10-year
Yeah.
warranted PSUs? I don't know.
Right.
I can't say on that.
Are you watching
So
the Padres? there,
Lando's
Lando?
watching the Dodgers game and he's having a
Yeah,
coronary
the Dodgers
over
are
there.
freaking won. Ah,
Oh, boo freaking
Freaking
who?
Shohei Ohtani.
Baseball.
He's a really
Bring
good
it
pitcher,
off.
right?
Sports
Shohei?
ball. All right.
gosh damn.
All the little stories are done. Let's talk about Nintendo.
It's time. Let's freaking go.
Okay,
All
let's get this
right.
out of the way. Hold on. Get this out of the way real quick. Supposedly, Silk Song is going to be coming out in 2025. Oh, yeah, that's all we need to spend on that story.
That's it. We're done.
They showed it like, wow, it's actually going to be released.
Hey, good
and then
show,
it said
guys.
2025.
Silk
like,
Song.
oh,
I'm a
no.
believer. I told
Yeah.
you guys a believer. I
It's
talked about it a few
next
weeks
year.
ago. I told you.
Dude,
I
it'll get
told you.
it'll get
I
delayed.
freaking
It'll get delayed.
Called
They
it.
didn't even have a specific date
Not
yet,
even a
and
date.
we are over a fourth
2025.
through the year.
2025, dude. It was showed
not
off.
coming
Nintendo never lies. It's gonna happen. I'm a believer.
Nintendo
Are you
doesn't
kidding
lie.
me? Do you know how long Nintendo delayed Perfect Dark on the N64? Like 5 times.
Hey, Tony, I will not allow you to like freaking
That
rain
was
on
rare.
my
That
parade. I'm
wasn't
not gonna allow
Nintendo.
it.
They were
This is the
owned by
biggest news
They
of
were
the
first
day.
party
We're
at the
getting
time.
Silk Song. It's gonna happen. I'm a believer. Damn
We'll
it.
see. We'll
Is
see.
that like a game you like or something?
All right.
'Kay,
The Nintendo
Jaren.
Switch.
You got this.
Bright early in the morning at
Let's talk
7
about it.
a.m.
It was early. I didn't
It
catch
was.
it.
I
That's the
actually
middle of the
I
night.
watched it. I woke up and put earbuds in and watched it on my phone before I got up and got ready for work and watched it
Really?
while I got ready for work.
Me
Caught
too.
the first. I was able to get the first half, like 30 minutes of it. So
All right, so
I missed
let's
the end of
let's
it.
get the most important bit out of the way first. It's coming out June 5th this
Yep.
year. Pre-orders go
Cool.
live 1 week from today as of recording, April
Are-
9th.
Is
However-
there anybody here not gonna pre-order?
There's a caveat to those pre-orders. You have to get preferred spot in pre-orders. You have to have had Nintendo Online for the last 2 years,
Oh,
and also have 50 hours of Switch time played in. I don't know when the time frame
I
is.
actually like this a whole bunch.
I fail
and
on
I will
probably
tell
both
you
of
why.
those.
That's
But
the.
that's only through if you buy it through Nintendo itself. You can
So you
still
can
buy
pre-or-
it through.
You could pre-order
like
from
Best
Best Buy
Buy.
or whatever. Okay,
But I bet
well,
you Nintendo has the most stock. The cool thing about this is it prevents bots from buying the
Scalpers, yeah.
Switches and scalpers,
Yeah,
right?
it's too exclusionary though because
it is.
It may be
I
too
don't
far.
play Nintendo
Sure.
Online with anyone, so I stopped paying for that.
Nintendo
Yeah.
on. Let's be honest. Nintendo Online, aside from the perks you get of the
blows.
virtual library, it blows.
But what about
Because
now? But what about now?
It'll be
It still
better
blows.
now. It'll be better
With
with the
the-
new system because they'll
yeah.
have updated
they
Wi-Fi
spent
chips.
and they also spent time making an online.
We'll get into that. We'll
Part
get into
of
that. You're don't Owen.
Don't.
Don't.
Sorry.
Don't.
That was. Oh,
I'm hoping for Costco to get a bundle in there.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's where
All
I
right,
got a
so
bunch of credit there.
the Switch 2 itself, the screen
It's bigger.
docked.
It's
bigger.
bigger.
It's bigger. It's bigger than the original Switch.
HDR.
The entire device is slightly bigger as well.
what's it? 7.9? Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
7.9. It's 1080p, HDR, 120 hertz,
120 hertz
VRR.
These are all the things I like.
Very
with
low
and
refresh
the
rate.
docking station, right?
No, yeah, well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
K.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
So they claim HDR on the screen, but it's LCD. It's not OLED. So they either have a mini LED in there, or they're kind of
Mini LED backlight.
yes, which would be true HDR.
Yep.
Or they're kind of fibbing on what HDR actually is. I hope it's the mini LED. They haven't confirmed either way. So I choose to be optimistic.
I think it's going to be one of those things that we're not going to know for sure until iFixit does a teardown.
Yeah. Nintendo
we'll
doesn't
see.
give away specs. That's just
Not-
like
not
historically.
so
No, I
much.
they
mean
don't give a
you can
crap.
tell if it's mini LED.
Well,
pretty
that's
easily
true. I
once you
mean,
get the
yeah, you
device.
can, but
If you
still.
couldn't, then it wouldn't matter if it had it or not.
Yeah, that's fair.
When it's docked, it is 4K, 60 hertz,
Up to.
HDR, up to 60 hertz, which means it's HDMI 2.0. It's not HDMI 2.1, so you don't
Yep.
get the fancy 120 hertz,
You
VRR.
know, get VRR
great
on the
stuff.
TV. Yeah.
So that is pretty unfortunate, frankly.
But what do they care? This is gonna be like you're gonna buy it, right? Like all this complaining about it, you're gonna.
Well, no,
I don't care
it's-
if Nintendo cares. I care if I care.
The other thing too, though, is it's interesting that they sprung for all the cool specs on the screen of the device itself, but didn't just toss a chip in there that does HDMI 2.1 for the TV.
Yeah,
Kind of weird. Like
I
the
agree.
chip is a lot cheaper than the screen.
Like we know the Switch 2 wouldn't push 4K 120. We wouldn't expect that. But
Yeah.
what that would enable it to do is VRR support
VRR support or
between
a,
like 30 frames per second and 60. You know,
or like what sometimes the Xbox does, PlayStation does more often, where you could do 40 frames per second
Yeah,
because you
true.
can divide it evenly into 120 hertz
they do
Yep.
let you do 1080p 120.
and 1440p 120.
And yep. But I don't think VRR will work with that. We'll see. Technically, it could. So maybe it's much ado over nothing.
I mean, for my use case, I'm going to spend 90% of the time playing it in mobile mode. So I don't care as much.
Okay. You don't dock it as much.
Which
But-
is funny 'cause I
Case,
play it. I
I don't have a-
mainly play docked.
I don't.
Same
Yeah,
with
me too.
me.
I don't have a
Oh,
2.1
really?
cable in the wall, so for me personally, it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, the controllers. There's a C button on there.
Guess
The
what
C
the
button
C stands for?
Stands for
Camera.
chat
Chat.
No.
or cache, as I'll talk about later. The Pro controller's got an upgrade. It has back buttons on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not 4, but 2. Two, I think
two.
is good enough.
2 back paddle buttons.
Yep. And it has an audio jack, unlike the original Switch Pro.
Look at that. A company putting an audio jack on something.
I know.
You paying
right?
attention, Apple? And everyone else that doesn't put audio jacks on their stuff anymore.
It's not just Apple anymore. So the dock, we mentioned that. It has active cooling in there. There's a fan.
Which is weird when you think about it, because the system itself is still plastic back, right? So you put it in there, and then the
Are
fan,
there-
I guess, just blows on the plastic back.
Are there not holes where the fan is? Like fan
Now, if
grates?
that's the case, maybe.
I hope so.
It would make sense because it would feed air into the system where the holes, where the ingress is for the system cooling. So I hope that's the case. I don't know.
Yep. Digital Foundry, actually, a viewer of Digital Foundry noticed that the wattage was listed on the back of the unit, and when plugged in, it can push up to 42 watts, which is a huge increase over the original Switch. So presumably, when it's docked, you will get a lot more power compared to when the original Switch was docked versus not docked.
That's good.
Yeah, could be good. Processor, this is not confirmed yet. This is conjecture, though. Digital Foundry, they're pretty smart guys. I think I would trust them. They're saying it's an 8 nanometer chip, which is a pretty old process at this point, at 1 gigahertz. And the interesting thing here is based off of the battery that Nintendo has confirmed, which is 5220 milliamperes. That's a 20 watt hour battery. And the battery life that they give, which is between 2 and 6.5 hours, you can presume then that the chip is running at 10 watts on when it's not docked. So it goes from 10 watts to up to 42 watts.
Well,
That's
Well,
more watts.
the problem with that math slightly is it doesn't account for any energy going to the screen or other components.
No, they were saying it'd be 60 watts total to the device, which would account for the.
No,
well,
I mean when it's in handheld mode.
Oh, right.
Because if you were to take 2 hours divided by 10 watts, that's 20.
No, they were accounting for that.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, they were.
All right.
So that's not much compared to like a Steam Deck or ROG Ally. Steam Deck runs at 15 watts. If you're pushing it, ROG Ally up to 30 watts. So it's still sipping power, similar to the original Switch. I think the original Switch was 5 watts. So even then, it's a big bump from the original Switch. So just keep your expectations in check for how powerful it is. But it seems like from what they showed, it can push quite a bit.
I think it's going to come out pushing equal or better visuals than the Ally X.
I disagree.
I think with the superior NVIDIA architecture in there, that they're going to be able to push
Are you talking docked or mobile?
mobile.
Either
no,
or,
there's
they're
no way.
Nintendo. They squeeze every ounce of performance out.
That's
they
what I
can.
mean. You're gonna get also closer to the metal API
At-
access.
At 3 times less, at 3 times more the power budget in the Ally, there's no way that they're going to get anywhere
It's
close to
Nintendo.
the Ally
There's
X.
always a
We'll
way.
see. We'll
Docked, I
always a
believe
way,
you.
Jared.
I think docked, it might be as powerful, if not slightly more. We'll find out. Storage, it has 256 gigs versus
Big
32
times.
from the original
8
Switch.
times the original.
Yeah,
Great.
but since it's a more powerful system, you will need more storage
Exactly.
for the textures, which will
The
be
game's-
higher resolution.
Game's
times
going to be
more.
a lot bigger.
They're going to be a
Nope,
lot
8 times
bigger.
more. It's better. It's
It
more
is 8
money.
times
It's
more, but they're also going to be quite a bit bigger.
You can
Who
expand
cares?
it though, right?
It's more.
Can you put in a bigger card?
Micro
Yes.
SD card.
Yeah.
Not just normal micro SD, it's micro
Has
SD
to be.
Express,
Has to be express ones. Yep.
which is a pretty new standard. I've never seen a device require it before. problem with micro SD Express is it's frickin' expensive,
Compared to regular micro SD, it's,
and compared to NVMe storage that you can get for the PS5.
yeah.
Right.
But I mean, at the time when the PS5 launched, we were saying the same thing about the NVMe drives for the PS5 because they had it limited to X speed and higher for the NVMe drive, PCIe Gen 4 X speed and higher. So this is the same thing. Prices are going to come down on the micro SD Express cards as time
In a
goes
couple
on.
years. For the next year or two, though, they're going to be expensive.
That's fine. Switch 2 is for the next 10 years. So
Yeah, you're
At
probably
least.
right.
at least.
Yep. It has a microphone built into the Switch itself, not the controllers. I think this is going to be a huge problem for a lot of people.
Yep.
Because it has a far-field microphone in it, so
Yeah.
they say it can pick up your voice from across the room, and
And
it'll
have noise canceling, right?
it'll have noise
you want to know where my
canceling.
Switch is? It's
Now,
in
hang
my
on, though.
cabinet behind a door.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So it won't work for me.
you guys. It's
Straight
going to be a
up.
problem, but for people that have it outside on their console, on their TV stand, I think it'll be okay unless they're in a super loud room. But it's obviously using the NVIDIA broadcast noise canceling. That's why.
Which
That's
is
why they
good.
say. That's why they say you'll be able to hear just a
In
person's
the demo, they
voice.
showed a blender.
Yeah,
Should be great.
So, as long as you're not sticking it in a cabinet like you guys, I think it'll be okay. But on the same note, I think that's one of those. This is one of those features that is going to be interesting at first, and then nobody's going to care about it after a year.
I agree. Like at the end of the
agree.
day, I don't care about it.
Yeah,
But they
me
should
neither.
have put microphones in the controllers too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like it
It'll be
doesn't-
great. It'll be great
Especially-
for the online stuff because the way that the whole Connect thing works with the friends playing together and stuff, screen sharing, the chatting, like
Yeah.
that's all really cool stuff that they have not done before. That like Twitch streaming and stuff will just be super elevated by like.
Well,
Excel
assuming
and
they
stuff.
have a Twitch app on there, they might
True.
just only allow it in
Yeah.
their Nintendo Online ecosystem.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
and speaking of Twitch, it does support a camera. They're
Yeah.
selling their own camera, but it sounds like you can bring your own camera. So this would take a video of you of your head and project it on a chat app while you're playing the game. You can see your friends' heads
Why did you
as
put the word
well.
"wangs" after camera support?
Yeah.
because
Jared.
people are totally going to show their wings and dongs with
Why
their
did
camera.
you? Why did you
Yeah.
automatically jump to that?
TDP.
What's the time to D here?
Because
It's
freaking
TDP
Connect, people do that all the time, and kids they play the Switch.
I
Wait
feel
for
like
it, yeah.
I
they're-
feel like you went there too quick. Like you're already
No,
planning
no.
on it.
Oddly specific.
They are so I bet they'll probably restrict it to just friends,
Yeah.
but I guarantee people are going to find a way to make friends with kids, and kids are going to accept it.
Oh,
and then
Jared,
suddenly
you
there's
suck.
a dong in your house.
What they need
It's
to do
true.
is just
I hate it.
get
Yeah, me
that
too.
app on Silicon Valley, hot dog or no hot dog, and then it'll be solved.
And then just give it to AI.
Just run the
That is
algorithm all the
That
time.
is hot dog.
Hot dog, not a hot dog.
So overall, I think it's a pretty awesome device for Nintendo. I think it's a good upgrade over the Switch. I wish it was OLED. If it's mini LED, I won't complain. If it's just normal LCD, then
Backwards
You said you
compatibility,
put it
right?
on the TV 90% of the time anyway, so it doesn't matter
Like
for you.
so.
because
we
of the
talked
horrible
about-
screen of the original
Right.
Switch, that's why.
Did I miss that? We talked about backwards compatibility.
No, we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Oh,
We'll
I
get
thought-
there.
I-
Jaren's
oh,
doing his
sorry.
whole
Let's
thing
talk.
where he has to go
Because
through it,
he
like,
said it sounded
methodically,
like
and you can't let the
yeah.
conversation flow. Like,
well, he
I
said
get
it's
it.
he
Just
said
let him do his
overall it's a
thing.
good device, and I thought, oh, we haven't talked about that yet. But,
Yeah, I'm talking about the device itself, the specs.
Oh, the specs.
Crap, but that's fine. Jaren does.
What do you think of the specs, Lando?
I don't care. The games look
I
great.
don't think the specs.
I care
yeah,
about the
specs-
games.
The specs are great,
Okay.
but it doesn't matter because everybody's going to buy one anyway. It's like
Will they, though?
disappointing.
I mean,
Everybody,
we'll
everybody will
get to
buy
the
it.
Oh,
pricing
if we want to
later.
jump to price, I have opinions
No,
on that.
everybody will.
Well,
Everybody will.
Let's go through the games first. So they announced not nearly they announced a ton of games, but at the same time, not very
They only
many
needed
games.
one.
They
They
announced-
And
only
at
needed,
the same time,
they
a
only
ton of
needed
freaking
one.
games.
They only needed one, and which one did they bring?
Mario
Silk
Kart
Song.
World.
Mario Kart World.
I think you
Everybody's
guys
buying
mean-
a Switch.
Mario Kart Horizons, because that's what this is.
Yeah,
This
so
is
they
Mario Kart
they
World.
fused Forza Horizon or like
Oh,
Need for
that's
Speed
what I'm
games
saying.
I
yeah.
see.
with Mario Kart, and
Yeah.
Vim Bam Boom, you got Mario Kart World. So it's an open world Mario Kart. You can drive between races.
Different modes, right? You have race mode or whatever. But
Yeah, they'll probably keep all their same modes. They didn't really get too much into detail in the game today.
It's gonna be
24
great.
players at
they have
once.
the arcade mode where you have to get checkpoints, right? In order to keep playing instead of doing
Knockout
laps
mode.
and winning. Yeah,
Knockout
knockout.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate
Knockout
that.
mode where it's
It's
like
gonna be fun. It's gonna be so much.
remember the
fucking
old
fun. It's
arcade
Mario
where you're
Kart.
like,
Who
I'm not gonna
cares?
hit the checkpoint.
Mario Kart.
Ugh. Yeah.
So that's pretty much the only exclusive launch game, actually, is Mario Kart World.
They showed
Donkey
some
Kong?
non-launch exclusive games, but yeah, as far as
Donkey Kong
launch,
comes later.
Donkey Kong comes in July.
What about the exploratory game? The
The
How to
Nintendo
Switch
Switch
works?
2 Welcome Tour.
That's the
Okay,
one. That comes
I have
out. That's
I have a bone to
exclusive.
pick on that. I have a bone
I
to
do
pick on that.
too. That should be
That
free.
should be a pack-in game for free.
That should be free, right?
And no
They are
way
freaking charging for this non-game.
they're charging for a freaking
Tech demo.
interactive manual
Yeah.
Tech
demo
demo.
Yeah.
of what your device is.
It's
Literally talking about the
ridiculous.
magnets
dumb.
and like running around through the
I-
hardware.
I saw that, and as soon as they said available for purchase, I just threw my hands up and said, "Unreal."
They
Yeah,
can't.
it
they
looks
can't do it as a
interesting.
full-
Like I'd probably boot it up once if it were free.
exactly.
they
exactly.
can't do it as a full price game, though, right?
If
Like,
they charge,
gotta-
if they charge more than $5 for this
yeah,
game,
right? Yeah.
anyone that buys it is a fool. I'm sorry. I'll say it.
And,
It's-
and the bundle should come with like a code for it.
It should.
Like,
It should.
you
Just
know?
like Sony did for the
Yep.
PlayStation 5 and Astro World. What'd they call that one with the PS5 with the Astrobots? Oh, was it Astrobot?
Astro's Playroom.
You just said
Astro's.
it.
No, that was PlayStation. Astro's Playroom was the PlayStation 4 VR one. I think it was just called Astrobot something. Anyway, the point is, it was free. It came loaded on the hard drive when you bought a PS5,
It should be free. It should be free.
and it did exactly that. It showed off all the different.
It's Astro's Playroom, you jerk.
Is it really?
It is. Yep.
Huh. But it showed off all the cool things that the PS5 DualSense.
I know it was
controller
fun. It was
could do.
good, and it was free.
It was a good game, and it was free. And
Yep.
you know what they did after that? They built a whole game around that system and sold
Yeah.
it later, and it's a fantastic game.
And made a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And like Wii Sports, that was free when
That was
the
a
Wii
pack-in.
came out.
Yep.
All right, moving on to games. Drag X Drive. This one is interesting. It's a 3-on-3 wheelchair basketball game.
Yeah, this
Interesting concept,
was kind of
but
weird.
what makes it look completely intolerable is the way they showed you playing it is
Yeah.
you have to use the mouse mode,
Yep.
and you have to drag the left mouse and the right mouse up and down
to
as
act
if you
like
were
a wheelchair.
Yes.
Oh my god!
And then if you
that
wanna
was
shoot,
the best use case they could come
You have
up
to
with.
you have to lift up the Joy-Con and act like you're shooting.
Like, that was a boardroom meeting where somebody's like, "What are we even doing with these?"
Do you know
yeah.
how old that would get?
you look like you're wheeling a wheelchair.
Oh,
Good
now that's an
idea.
idea.
Good one, Fred.
Like you'd get so tired of this control scheme
Oh
after
yeah,
5
for
minutes.
sure. I love the representation of this. It's cool that people that use wheelchairs will
Yeah.
get to see a game with featuring them, but the motion itself, and that doesn't even bother me as much as when you watch the game as it's played. It looks like there's no inertia for using the wheelchair. They only go forward when they push. The wheels don't keep turning if you lift the mouse off. The physics are wrong.
to be fair, Jaron, they proved you wrong from the last time we talked about this when you were like, "What the heck are you going to even use a mouse for?" Here it is, buddy. This game.
2 mouses.
Two mices.
Mice?
Right.
Well, they
Mices.
also
Mices.
showed that you can use it with Metroid Prime 4.
That's
as,
pretty
And
dope.
like
To do what?
is the mouse mode, will it work okay on a couch? Because if not,
No.
no one's going to use it.
Wait, you gotta
That's
have
a
a
good
desk.
question.
A
I don't
desk.
know.
You have like a little lap desk to
Like
use it.
who's
No,
going to
hold
bring
on,
out a
hold
lap
on. I
desk
have
to play
thoughts.
a Switch?
Hold on. I play Minecraft on my laptop on the couch, and I use a mouse
Yeah,
to play Minecraft on my
but-
laptop on the couch, and it works just fine.
It does, but mice for
But
PCs
two
have come
separate?
a long way
Yeah.
as far as reading different surfaces go. I hope Nintendo went with a good sensor. If they went with a
Yeah.
good sensor, there's not going to be a
Also,
But
if
not
they-
the stand.
if they
Also, not the
cheaped
standard
out-
physical form, right?
And that's the other thing. I read an article where someone was talking about having used it for a while, and they said it is not comfortable.
Yeah.
Like it is not.
Well, if
yeah,
you tip
'cause
it, if you tip it
looks
even a
worse
little
than
bit,
the Apple
lights.
mouse to,
If you
to
tip
hold.
it even a little bit, the light's going to get under there and mess up the laser, right? Like
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why mice
Yeah.
have a wider base.
And so, like, do you have to carefully hold it vertically the entire time? If you
Yeah.
slightly
Yeah.
tilt it,
sounds
Yeah,
like
will
a
it
good
will lose its
opportunity.
reading? If so, it's a worthless functionality of the.
Sounds like a
Joy-Con.
3D printer to the rescue to make
Yeah,
a cradle for
that's what I was
that.
about to
Right.
say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Moving on. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. This is Breath of the Wild style animation, but it's made by Koei Tecmo, and it's
It's Dynasty Warriors game.
yeah. There you go.
basically.
It's a Hyrule Warriors type
Yeah.
game. This one came out of nowhere. Duskbloods. This is a From Software game.
Yeah.
It's a Switch exclusive. It
That's-
kind of
That's the part that blew my mind the most. I was like, oh, a new FromSoft game. And then it was like Switch exclusive.
yeah
What?
yeah. It looks like Bloodborne, but it's not Bloodborne. It's a multiplayer game supposedly, according to Jason Schreier. So really nothing beyond that. Interesting. FromSoft is a big win for Nintendo there. Kirby
so-
Air Riders, Masahiro Sakurai is doing this one. It's a
What-
sequel
what-
to the
what else has he
GameCube's
made?
Kirby Air Ride. What?
What else has Masahiro Sakurai made?
He's the Kirby guy and the Super Smash Brothers guy,
Yeah, Smash Brothers, baby. Which they
which was
didn't show
which was
off.
not announced.
No.
Not announced.
But Air Riders, there you go. If you're into Air Riders.
Donkey Kong
can't give it all up.
Bonanza.
Okay, let's talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza for a second.
This
This looks good.
This does. It looks really cool.
Why is he wearing pants? Donkey Kong doesn't need pants.
He doesn't here.
Why?
He doesn't
Why
have,
not?
buddy.
No.
This is just time
All
to
he wears
change.
is a red tie with yellow DK on there. You put pants on him, and he's not Donkey Kong. If you go and look at all of the side characters, they all have clothes on except for Donkey Kong. So when I
Tony?
saw this, I was like, "Who is that? Do we have a new addition to the Donkey Kong family?" No, that's Donkey Kong in overalls for some reason.
Okay, Tony.
Okay,
Tony, okay.
rant over.
It's fine. Just cool your jets, dude.
A, I don't care, and two, this looks pretty fun.
It does look
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It's got like really destructible environments and everything.
Like
It
everything looks
rad.
destructible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
It's
except
gonna
for the
be
pants.
the Switch 2's Mario Odyssey.
I hope
Maybe-
so.
maybe.
This one comes out a month later, July 17th. So yeah, this one looks neat. Like Donkey Kong and Mario Kart are my two games that look interesting.
Also, this is the first 3D Donkey Kong game since Donkey Kong 64 on the N64.
Yeah.
Yep. Survival Kids. It's made by Konami. Puzzle action
Konami still
game,
makes games?
apparently.
Yeah.
4 players work together to survive a series of desert islands.
All right.
And that's a launch game. And then there's a bunch of. I'm just going to touch on the ones that looked interesting because they announced a lot of games that already exist on other platforms that are just coming out on the Switch 2. So there's some upgrades to Super Mario Party Jamboree, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, some other stuff. There's going to be a Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Don't forget about that. That's a great game.
Thank you.
You skipped over it on the list, so I thought you forgot about it.
And that's why you said it.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah, there we go.
This is really interesting. This is really interesting because these aren't emulated anymore. This is direct support for these games.
Incorrect.
Right? This is
Incorrect.
is it still emulated?
Some of these, if you do the updated version, they are, but the games that are backwards compatible are somewhere between, and this is from a Nintendo representative. They are played via something in between a software emulation and a hardware emulation.
I see.
Yeah, and
So
I
mix.
put a link in the show notes, and they say over 15,000 Switch games. Most of them should work, but there is a list that are not compatible.
Yeah,
and
But they're working on them.
Yeah.
not, not necessarily.
The list states
the
they are
developers-
working on them, Darren.
The developers would have to work on them to
Sure.
update them.
Well-
So
List says it.
Nintendo isn't working on them.
You're just referring to the ones that aren't compatible at all right now, though, right?
Yes.
Like, because the list that says, because there's like a list of
There's two
good,
lists.
there's a list of good, there's a list of has some issues, and then there's a list of doesn't work at all. And on the list of has some issues, it does reference and say they're all being looked into. So I don't know if that's going to be on the Nintendo side or not. I would imagine
Yeah.
it's going to be Nintendo tweaking its software piece.
I think
'cause I was-
broadly, you probably don't have to worry. Like some notable games that don't work for whatever reason are like Doom Eternal,
Yeah, I saw
Wolfenstein
that.
2.
Saw that on the list.
Yeah.
I was just reading this Gizmodo article where they said if you want to play all these GameCube titles again without resorting to emulation, it's interesting that that's like a mix between the two. So
Yeah, so as Tony said, most Switch games should work, and there are some games that are getting a light upgrade that will get like perhaps performance boosts or
Unlock
resolution
frame
boosts.
rate, maybe.
Zelda.
Yeah.
But then there's other games, not Zelda actually, that you have to pay for to get the Switch 2 upgrade, like Zelda.
Well, Lando's have
No,
it right.
you
And
get
that's to
the
get the Switch
upgrade.
Classic.
No,
Hang
you do
on.
not. You
Lando's-
have to pay for the
Lando's
Switch
right,
2
but he doesn't
upgrades.
know why he doesn't know why he's right. So Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild require paid upgrades, but A Link to the Past and the new
Wind
Zelda
Waker.
Princess game will get free updates.
They don't require paid upgrades. I can
Yes,
play
they do.
Zelda with performance boost without the upgrade pack.
Nope.
That's not true.
No,
Go
they
look it up.
confirmed it.
Search
it
it
was
up,
on
man.
the live stream that you
So
have to
I
pay.
can't. So I have the cart
Yep.
right now for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
It might
I
work.
can't
the
play
Switch
that
one-
without paying more money.
No,
the
it'll
Switch
play.
1 version will work. Probably.
It'll play just
don't get the
exactly
Switch 2
like it
version.
does on your Switch 1. If you want better frame rate, better resolution, stuff like that, you pay money.
oh, I see.
Yep.
So yeah, you gotta shell out for.
I'm
I
gonna
see-
double check
I-
you on that. 'cause I'm
Go ahead.
It was part of
you
the
wanna-
live stream,
It was
Lando.
literally
if you
in
wanna
the
get-
live stream.
So
Yes.
if you want to get Wind Waker at
That's the
launch,
GameCube thing.
and-
So the
Yeah, that's the
GameCube thing that
GameCube
you're
thing.
thinking of, Owen,
Yeah.
is part of the new Nintendo Online,
Classics thing.
Yes.
GameCube Classics thing.
They are emulating GameCube now.
Those are
Yeah.
emulations, yes.
You have to pay for Nintendo Switch Online. So this is similar to what you got before, but with like Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Genesis. They just added GameCube games on there. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
They only talked about 3 games, though. I wish they.
I
announced
love all
more.
of them though. Like,
No,
well,
they're good games, but I, just wish there was more.
James was here for Wind Waker, right? That was his.
I
that was
freaking
his
love
jam,
Wind
right?
Waker.
But
Wind Waker's so good.
F-Zero and Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great games.
They
Plus, you get a new controller, right? You get the
Oh.
you get a new.
You, can,
When they
you
were
get
talking
the
about it,
opportunity
they-
to buy a new controller.
Yeah, that's true. You get if you want the full exclusive.
Exactly.
They are selling a GameCube controller that has the C button and everything and rechargeable batteries and all that.
when they were talking about it, there was like a rotating list of games that would be included outside
Yeah.
of the 3 that they actually talked about.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's going to be like maybe 8 or 9 at,
Oh, yeah,
at launch.
They'll put
see.
more on for sure.
Oh yeah. It's got nostalgia value. They'll just keep adding them and people will keep buying them. Period.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to handpick some games that were announced by third parties. Borderlands 4, it's coming to Switch 2 this
I was
year.
a little bit surprised to see that. Borderlands 3, I should say, was pretty heavy when it came out. Did not perform very well.
No.
And so hopefully they've done a lot of optimization for Borderlands 4.
It'll be
Because
30 FPS for sure.
probably.
Cyberpunk 2027?
Yeah, 2077. I was surprised.
Oh, it says 2027. 27.
Does it say 2020?
Yeah,
Oh,
it does. I'm
yeah.
like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that's incorrect. I am very. I might buy this game on the Switch too, just to see what it's like on an.
You can play it on the Steam Deck, or you can play it on the.
I'm very curious to
ROG
see how it plays on this.
Of course you would. But the preview they were showing, like, it didn't look totally stripped down.
No,
like
that's what I mean,
The
like-
previous gen versions were.
That's what I'm saying. Like I am insanely curious about
They
how
probably
they're making
did some
this.
crazy optimizations before this. Elden Ring was announced. It looks pretty decent. On
It
the
still
Switch
won't have a
2.
good frame rate though.
Fast Fusion. This one looked interesting because Fast RMX was a Switch launch title, and it's kind of like what's that? Captain
Wipeout.
Falcon. No, Captain Falcon.
F-Zero.
Yeah, it's kind of like an F-Zero clone, but Fast RMX was really good and had great graphics. So Fast Fusion looks interesting to me.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade.
Was also surprised to see this because that game is also quite heavy on the other consoles.
Right.
Yep. Hogwarts Legacy, an upgraded version, because that was already out on Switch. This weird game called Hollow Knight. Silk
Yeah,
Song?
Silk Song. Let's go.
No, we already mentioned that one. Roll past.
You want to say anything else about it, Lando?
No, but it was really literally just a
Just
screenshot.
mentioning
a
the
couple
name
days.
is all he got anyway.
2025. But you know what? That is all that us believers need. That's it.
Just
That's
a
all we
little taste, a little couple drops of water in the desert.
Project 007. This is made by the people that do Hitman, IOI Interactive.
IOI, yeah. Did we know about this already,
IOI
or
Interactive.
was this?
Yeah,
Was this?
we knew they got the rights.
Okay, that's why it sounded familiar.
Yeah. Star Wars Outlaws. That is a heavy game. Interesting to see how they'll get that on the Switch too. Street Fighter 6, Split Fiction, which was Halight's awesome game. They did It Takes Two.
Yep.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, which is coming out soon.
You
on all
skipped over.
platforms.
Not that we care about this game, but it is interesting because I don't think it's been on a Nintendo system in many, many years. Madden's back on Switch.
Oh, has it not been on?
I
Switch
don't
for a
think
while?
that's been on the Switch for a long. I'll look, but yeah, keep going.
No, that's everything that was interesting to me. If there's anything else that stood out to you, go for it.
Nope.
All right.
Mostly
so,
Cyberpunk.
like, it's not going to be starving for content because obviously you get backwards compatibility, you get all of the Nintendo Switch Online emulated stuff, you get brand new Switch titles. However, brand new exclusive stuff is pretty thin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
so,
again,
that feels like
Madden-
how it always is for Nintendo. Like it seems like they're launched.
It is. They always launch.
Not this bad.
It's always
though.
this thin.
What
What was the
I don't
launch
think it's.
titles for the Switch?
Well, you had Breath of the Wild with the Switch, which was
Fair.
a huge launch title.
Yeah.
Anyway, Madden hasn't been on a Nintendo system since 2012. So
Well, and I feel like this is
first time
like
in a while.
I know they haven't done a new console release in what is it? Has it 9 years? What is
Been
it?
about
this year?
8.
8 years. So, but this really does allow them to level set, right, and do a launch that they actually planned out. And I'll bet you that the releases they're coming up with will actually happen because they had time. They took the time to
They've had nothing but time.
yeah, to actually make a plan. Just being like, yeah, and you know what else we're gonna do after 3 years? Like you see, look at the Microsoft, the Xbox release. It was like 3 years, 5 years, 3 years, or whatever. They were doing that mid-range upgrade in between, and it's just like it didn't allow them to ever make any of the add-ons and the cool stuff that they said was going to happen actually come to fruition. So they just got hit with bad launch after failed
Well, and
expectations.
we're seeing also a little bit of the same playbook that they did with the Switch, where they're going back on the Switch 2 and taking games that were for the Switch and saying, okay, let's upgrade these and sell them again, or sell an upgrade patch for
Or-
it, which is exactly what they did tons of times with the Switch. Even early on, they take GameCube games or Wii U games
Yeah,
that
right.
people didn't play much of
Make
because the Wii U just sold so poorly.
Right.
But that's
concept
where it's a little
or-
bit different because the Switch sold gangbusters. Everyone's played every Switch game they want to play.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a harder sell to replay the same game.
I also thought it was
5
pretty
years
cool
later.
that they're hardware and digital backwards compatible. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I would
Oh.
hope so. Like those are table stakes at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the cartridges are red now. Is that the
that's how you
the
know
new-
that
that's how
the
you know it's the Switch 2.
Yeah,
And then they built in a transfer system, so you don't have to be like, how do I get all my stuff over? You just have your old Switch, exactly like iPhone does when it's transferring, right? You just
So
have
you
one.
Don't
put an
swell
extra
your
phone.
old Switch before you get the new one.
yeah.
Yes,
Unless you
correct.
don't want all your saved games.
Yeah. So I'm going to give Lando points here. The launch titles for the original Switch, it was pretty meager. 1-2 Switch, Just Dance, Breath of the Wild, which is the good one, Skylanders Imaginations,
Skylanders isn't even around anymore.
Imaginators, Super Bomberman R, I Am Setsuna, Snipper Clips, Shovel Knight, and Fast RMX.
Snipper clips. Yeah, so,
So-
like
Well-
this is just par for the course.
You still had a few more though, because good games. You had Fast RMX, you had Zelda, you had what was the one you said before Snipper Clips?
I Am Setsuna,
No,
Super Bomberman R,
no,
Skylanders.
maybe. I swear there was a third one in there. I was like, oh, that was a good game.
1-2 Switch, that was it.
No, that game sucked. I took it back.
Let's talk about the GameCube. What did the GameCube have for release titles?
that's a good
Luigi's
question.
Mansion 3.
I could tell you. You mean Luigi's Mansion 1 on the GameCube?
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
Um,
I was thinking of Switch.
Or what about
The,
like the Wii or
Luigi's
Wii U?
Mansion, Super Monkey Ball, and Wave Race Blue Storm.
Yeah.
Still pretty meager.
Yep. Same with the
Waves are a great
N64.
game, though.
The N64 had Pilot Wings, Mario 64. I think that was it.
I
But
think
that was
it.
Japan.
Like,
So
this is
the
just-
U.S. launch also had Crazy Taxi, Disney's
Okay.
Tarzan, Madden NFL, NHL Hit, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. So GameCube had a good launch.
Oh, no, I'm
actually.
talking about 64. Oh, so the GameCube did have some good games.
Yeah.
But the N64 was Pilot Wings, Super Mario 64, and
That's
in
it.
Japan, that was it. I think
No,
there was a...
64 was kind of a struggling console.
Oh, but it was
Has
so
Nintendo always
good.
followed the cadence of a long hardware release date? Like, was there a lot of time between Super Nintendo and GameCube, and then from GameCube to Switch?
No, they were.
No,
they
it was
were
like
5
5
years there
years.
for a
It was-
while.
Yeah. It
NES to
wasn't
SNES was 6 years, but everything after that was like 5 years.
until we got to the Wii U and the...
Things were moving fast then, right? With storage and going from cartridges to disc and
Yeah.
from disc
Yeah.
to online.
So what about the
like,
Wii? What did the
internal
Wii have,
storage.
Jaron?
sports.
launch.
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports was such a good game.
I could also play GameCube games.
Yeah.
So again, my point remains.
But,
Like
yeah. No, you're right. They never have had
over
super...
time, great games will come. That's
Bask in the
Nintendo.
glory, Lando. Bask in the glory. All right, now to the negatives. Price.
No negatives.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
None.
Totally
There's a
negatives.
lot.
This
So
is-
the price of the console itself, I don't think is a bad thing.
I think
And
it's $50 too much.
that's
Yeah.
because of tariffs.
Well,
Like
either
straight
way,
up, it's tariffs, and I
it's-
I can't blame Nintendo for that. I have to blame someone else for that who's orange. So it's not Nintendo's fault. $450, but in this climate, I think it's a pretty good deal because
Yeah.
you're getting a whole lot more compared to the original Switch. I mean, it's
in this economy,
Plus backwards compatibility. You're not
Yeah.
having to rebuy all your games.
if there was no
Exactly.
backwards
You know?
compatibility, that would be a big old L.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, with the backwards compatibility, you have
that means you
a
get to
huge...
play all your titles
So
on a
here's
better system.
because here's the boat
day
I'm
one,
in. My
right?
Switch is on its last leg. Like my kids have driven my Switch in the ground, like to the point of like, I'm surprised it still works at times.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm due for an upgrade, and the fact that this is
you can buy
backwards
mine
compatible
for me.
for my old Switch games is huge.
You can buy
Dude,
my Switch because
what's the
what
worst
do you
thing-
need a Switch 2 for, Lando?
It's the newest, greatest thing, just like you need it.
But why do you want it? It plays
Because it's
it plays
new
the
Nintendo.
Switch games, just like the Switch does.
just
wanna
looks
play the
better.
Mario
It's just
Kart.
prettier graphics.
And
Yeah.
freaking Silk Song, of course.
Silk
Gosh
Song will come
damn
out
it,
on the
Jared.
original
Is
Switch
that a
also.
game?
How do you don't know that?
Oh,
You don't know that.
guaranteed. They're
would
going to put
be-
it to the broadest audience that they
They
possibly
would be
can.
fools to not
Yeah.
have it on the Switch.
I'm in the same boat. My Switch survived a outside rainstorm. So within like the first 8 months of us having it, my kid left it out on the back porch.
So Lando, I
So-
repeat, why do you want to Switch 2?
dude,
I
do
don't. My
gra-
kids want it.
games.
They want to pay for it. So what do I care?
do graphics matter?
No.
Okay, then why
I
do you
want
want
the
it?
hardware. I want it for the magnets,
content,
baby.
Content.
You want it for the
matters.
what?
For the
Magnets.
magnets?
Oh, yeah.
For the magnets.
And the C button.
Freaking magnets, how do they
buddy.
work?
Dude, you gotta get
So
it for the
why do you
new
want to
games,
Switch
right?
2? You haven't
And
given
the
me a
bigger
real
For the
answer
new
yet.
games,
Bigger
you gotta
screen.
get the world, the
Bigger
new
screen?
games.
You say you play it docked. So why do you want the bigger screen?
So because when I don't,
Boy,
Every once in a while,
Jaron really wants Lando to admit he's excited for the graphics.
Yeah.
I'm
He
no.
needs to-
I don't give
he
a
needs to-
crap about the
he needs
graphics.
to-
Then why do you want the
Game.
Switch 2?
He needs to
I can't play the new Mario Kart in Switch 1, can I?
But it's basically the same kind of gameplay, right? It's just not an open world.
I hate this. I hate
Because,
everything about what's happening
like,
right now.
you could
Tony?
just-
Is the hardware
could just-
enabling an open world?
You could just relent.
I don't know.
Lando.
Dude, no,
Yes,
you,
you-
you
I had
care
a
about
world
open
in
worlds?
Freaking Zelda.
What?
Zelda? Did that game even have us?
Did you just say Zelda then turn off?
He did. He powered down.
You're like open world? Yeah, Zelda had an open world. I'm fine.
Okay, so why do you need the Switch 2 then?
Games are freaking fun. That's why.
They're just as fun on the Switch, right?
Yes, they are, but they're all backwards compatible. And I need a new Switch, so why not buy
Why?
the new one?
Why do you need? You can buy mine. I'll give it to you for $50.
Future
$50?
proofing.
Done. Done.
Uh-oh.
I'll be up tomorrow.
We have a verbal contract.
Lando,
but you
got him.
Lando.
You can't buy a Switch 2 then.
No, that was not part of the deal.
That's part of the deal now.
No.
Because
it's
I
too
haven't
late.
agreed
I'm
on my
coming to your
side yet,
house
so
tomorrow. I
it
know where
isn't
you
a
live.
fully
Can't-
executed
You
contract.
made the offer.
You
Jared.
can't take it until Jaron transfers his saves over to the new Switch. Otherwise,
That's fine.
he loses all of his
that's
progress.
Like
I'll
the
have a
2.5
new, I'll
hours
have
of
Darren's
each game he's
Switch
played.
2 or Switch 1 OLED and a Switch 2. It'd be great.
I don't have an
He
OLED.
didn't get the OLED. Only I got the OLED.
That's
So
fine.
why do you want the Switch
Fu-
2 then? You still have
Future proofing, Lando. That's why. Just say future proofing.
but
I
it
want
doesn't
to
enable
last-
any new gaming experiences.
Doesn't
According to
matter.
Lando. He'd be
Future-proofing.
fine with text.
Future proofing.
Any game can be text and be just as
Yeah.
fun.
Your battery's
Wasn't
already
that-
got some battery chargers.
So I don't
you know?
get why you want the Switch 2. Why are you excited for this console?
It's new. It's got
To
better
be honest
games.
with you, I'm really not super excited for it. I kind of felt like the whole thing was
Oh.
kind of like, meh, whatever. I want new games.
Let's roll the tape. Let's roll it back to see
And
his
mostly
excitement.
Silk Song.
as he was crapping all over our other stories before we got to the Nintendo Direct. Oh.
Are we done?
Okay,
Is there
anyway.
anything else to talk about?
Lando, I love you, Lando.
I'm glad someone does, because I thought Jaren did.
Oh,
He
Jared
had-
doesn't
no.
love anybody.
Oh no, dude, he gave you the rope-a-dope. He
Yeah, he
brought
did.
You in, brought you in.
Hey,
He's about to
hey!
Yep.
Made you think it
Okay.
was a safe space.
But it's all
I
part of
support
it.
you.
It's all part of it,
I
buddy.
support you. Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
I
It's
support
all part of
Lando
it.
and his quest.
You can't hurt somebody
It was all
unless
a
they're
setup.
close.
Hey, Lando, I support you. I wanted you to tell us the truth that you care about new hardware.
I support you, but sit down, okay?
You know, here's the
Sit
thing:
down.
is I remember as a kid, like looking at articles on the interwebs about the GameCube, and I was so excited. Like everything about the GameCube, like the hardware, the new controller style, like
Awesome.
I was so excited. But I have not felt that excitement since the GameCube. Honestly, I'm
Called
not
being an adult. I
even
keep
about the
chasing that
Wii
dragon.
or the Wii U or
Well,
the Switch.
Your
For
biggest
me,
problem.
it's the games, right?
Your biggest problem is you never branched out from Nintendo, and so they never gave you a reason to get super excited.
Well,
Nothing
have an
has been as
Xbox.
powerful as the GameCube since.
I've had some Xboxes.
Well, and for me, it's the IP, right? Like they don't share. Nintendo doesn't share. So, like you can get other games on Switch. They'll bring stuff in, but you're never gonna play Mario Kart or any of those games on another platform unless you buy the Switch or emulate it on have a worse experience. So I'm in to buy the new one just because of the better experience, but also I want the IP. I want Mario Kart World like you wouldn't believe. That game looks so fun.
My kids, I talked to them today, and they're not here, as you know. And my son's like, "Have you heard about the new Mario Kart?" I'm like, "How did you hear about the new Mario Kart?"
It's got the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the downsides of the Switch. Like,
I thought you were gonna say back to the shaming of Lando.
No.
I think I masterfully baited him, right?
Okay, phrasing.
So, phrasing. I think you did though.
What? Oh, I see what I
He's
okay.
disappeared.
All right,
Um,
pricing. It's too expensive.
I disagree on the console itself. Everything else, though, it's ridiculous. Games are up to $80 physically. Mario Kart World is $80 if you want
That-
the physical version.
That surprised me when I saw that it was 80. I mean, we all thought Grand Theft Auto 6 was going to be the first one to go 80 or higher. Nope, it's Mario Kart.
I get it. These cartridges are expensive. If the micro SD express cards are like $80 for 256 gigs, and it's not that much cheaper to get 32 or 64 gigs on a game cart, right?
Right.
So they got to cover the
Pricey.
cost, but $80, that's pricey.
How much is tariffs as well?
Games. I don't know how much they're going to add to that, or how much it did add to that. Games haven't been $80. I think since the late '80s, early '90s, there were a few titles for Sega and Nintendo that were $80.
$100 for another Pro Joy-Con?
$90 for a new pair of Joy-Cons, $80
So
for
you
the
pay
Pro controller.
$100 after tax.
Those
To
are
get another set.
expensive.
Whoa.
Those
Like,
these Joy-Cons better not have
Drift.
stick drift issues if you're paying
I
$90
hope not.
plus.
But still, with how much all these multiplayer games, like the new Mario Kart and stuff, like you gotta have more controllers. right?
Yeah, well, not only that, if you're charging $90 for these, they should have put a microphone in them.
right,
Yeah.
right. They're
Maybe
charging
they'll-
way
you
too
know,
much
maybe,
for these accessories.
Maybe they'll have Bluetooth and you can hook up your own headset to your own controller. There you go.
Nah, they'll give you that in 4 years
Yeah.
via
They'll just-
software update.
They'll just let you know that the chip. was
Okay, what
already
else,
there.
Jared?
And,
Keep going.
the-
This sucks.
We mentioned this earlier. Welcome Tour, why are they charging for that? It makes no
Unreal.
sense.
That was
Um,
dumb.
The C button, it's gated behind paying them money because it only works with the Nintendo Online. So if
Yeah,
you
but
don't pay
that's
for
true
Nintendo
Xbox
Online,
too, so
How much is Nintendo Online?
There's
though?
not an
It's
exclusive
actually,
button on
It's actually not
Xbox.
as bad as the
No,
other
but that's
online
how Game Chat
systems,
works on Xbox.
right?
There's
$4
not
a
an
month
exclusive
or
button that
20 bucks a
only
year?
works if you pay Xbox.
Chat is
So it's
only
the
available.
button you have a problem with, not the fact that Game
Yeah,
Chat
the
only
button
works
I have
with
a
the
problem
live
with.
subscription.
The button literally won't work if you don't pay for Nintendo Switch Online.
Whatever. I don't.
It's-
You're
it's-
splitting hairs. I don't give two craps about.
I have to agree. The button is just part of the online experience, and so it's not
extra, right?
it's not intrusive. It's like a tiny button on there that
It feels like an advertisement that's built into the controller. That's why I don't
Whatever.
like it.
I don't. I literally don't care. Keep
So-
going. Next.
There's a lot of nickel and diming. It feels like.
what's the price of Nintendo Online these days?
It's
I
$20
don't
a
even
year.
Is it still just $20 a year? I thought
Yeah,
it
they
went up.
said.
Oh,
they said
frickin'
four,
Jared,
$4
who
bucks a
cares?
month or something like that.
Nintendo Online.
$20
$35 for a family membership, $20 for individual.
Yeah.
Oh, that is dirt cheap. No,
mean,
but however, you have to buy the expansion if you want the
Yeah.
N64 games and newer, and that's
Correct.
another what, 20 a year? Another
50
Yeah.
20?
bucks. $50 a year.
50
Oh,
bucks a
50,
year.
50 for the entire thing.
50 for the whole shebang.
Family, it's 80 for the entire thing. So that
That's
get the
getting up there a little
online-
bit. 50
That's
bucks.
getting up there.
You know,
Yeah.
That's a year.
still cheaper
How much do you
than
pay for Netflix a month?
yeah, still cheaper than Xboxes and PlayStations. So
I pay
got
nothing
that
for
going for it.
PC online stuff. Nothing.
that's true.
And I love it.
I paid $2,000 for my graphics card though.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a trade-off.
You know, it's a give and take.
You're just kind
Yeah,
of pushing
you
some
paid like
assets
150
around,
after
right?
selling your 4090. So
Touche.
don't give
This
me that.
time,
Touche.
this is a very rare occurrence though.
It is the second time it's happened.
Okay,
though,
next.
within
We are way over time.
ecosystem.
Keep going, Jared. What's next? Next
Way
on
over
your dumb
time. You're
list
the one
of
that started
dumbness.
this late. No, that's it. Like the price for the controllers for the games, it's pretty expensive. I was browsing Reddit. I was talking to my coworkers, and the general theme is like, this is way too pricey. I'm not going to do it. And
It's
I
the
understand that
it's-
won't be everyone. Like, I'll probably buy it, but
So do you think some people be like, oh, you know what? I want to upgrade my Switch. I'm just going to go for the Switch OLED instead of go with Switch 2. I feel like the Switch OLED or any other Switch is going to be like the middle option. It's like, yeah, but for an extra $200.
It's not even extra.
$100,
It's an extra $100. The
Extra
Switch
100
OLED's $350.
an extra $100. I could get the new one that plays all the old games.
assuming they
and
keep the
we'll
Switch
have the new
OLED at its
games.
current price.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I still think tariffs
They said they
aside,
have no need.
tariffs included, I think it's still too much. I think they should have stuck with $400
Yeah.
for the system, $450 for the pack-in for the game.
So
pack-in,
why is 500 okay then for the PS5 and Xbox?
because it's a way more powerful system.
Yeah, but you're not getting handheld mode. This is like a 2-in-1.
True. What
I mean, that's
maybe
fair.
you compare this to the ROG,
But-
right? Like if you like that,
It's
one's
way cheaper than the ROG
way-
Ally.
way
However,
cheaper.
though, that's not Nintendo's usual demographic. Like,
right?
it's families, and families buy a Nintendo because they're affordable fun. You know, they used to
Yeah.
be.
Here's
anyway.
here's my thoughts. I think the price is fine if it was a normal economy. I think with the economy being what it is, that's what's going to make it hard and
a
not
little
sell
steep.
well.
That's a
for
factor
anybody.
for sure. Yeah, I'll
Like,
agree.
If it's your primary gaming system, maybe it's okay. But a lot of people, the Nintendo is their secondary system.
Yeah,
And as
which
a
is-
I
secondary
don't
system,
think so.
oh, totally.
Oh,
It's our primary gaming system and my
Right.
household.
Because the content's so limited, right? Like
But
you don't
there's-
get the access to Steam.
But like
Yeah.
or
as a secondary
other-
system, it feels
or
kind of
Game
pricey.
Pass.
It does
but
definitely
I
feel
think-
pricey as a secondary.
I think it's
system.
I think it's more of a primary system for more people than you think.
I never doubted that. I
Yeah.
didn't say that.
But for the people that
I
it is
just
a
can't
secondary
believe that
system,
nowadays.
it's definitely on the
With
pricey
Steam,
side.
with Steam and Game Pass, I just can't believe that it's the primary game system for most people, because the content, the amount of games is just not there, including free games and everything. Like
It will be.
You talking about-
can play
You
Halo.
talking about the Switch?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about. It's not the. Lando said it was the primary game for a lot of people. Like
I think it's the
primary
primary
system.
game system for a lot of families, younger families. You betcha,
Yeah, probably
Yep.
younger families.
for sure.
But that's just not where the gaming market's at right now. It's younger families. Like,
Are you
I
kidding
think you'd be
me?
surprised. I think it is.
Are you kidding, dude?
I don't think
The
that's where it's
grade
at.
school kids on Fortnite and doing all that kind of stuff. That is a license to print money.
It's true.
Dad, can I have $20 for Fortnite? Dad, can I have $10 for this skin? Dad, I need some Robux.
How much did Nintendo take off the top on those? in-game purchase.
30%, just like everybody else.
Ooh.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's overtime.
All right, so everyone's opinions. Lando, are you going to buy it?
Because my kids are going to pay for over half of it, yeah. I'm going to teach them responsibility and teach them that like things cost money. So yeah.
No, that's a good idea. My kids
This
also.
is it for me. I'm
want it.
using the Nintendo Switch 2 and their excitement around it as a moment for them to put a lot of skin in the game and treat it nicely because they treated my Switch like complete crap.
That's
I'm in the
So
same
yeah,
boat.
I will buy it
We're
to
doing-
teach my kids some responsibility.
I mean,
for
I'm due
sure.
for an upgrade. I was gonna get it anyway because I'm like I want the upgrade, but also doing the same thing, setting it as a goal and as a responsibility so they can understand. You don't leave this one out in the sprinklers, guys.
Yep.
I'm going to teach myself responsibility too and buy this.
You mean pre-order it? You shouldn't pre-order it. That's your level.
I'm not pre-ordering it. Like I said, I've got a bunch of store credit at Costco, so whenever Costco gets it in, I'll pick it up.
yeah.
But
So I'm going to get it too, since we're all getting it.
Jared
peer
can't be
pressure.
left out.
Jaron Caves.
Of course.
I was always going to get it.
He was always.
He was
Yeah.
always gonna get it. He didn't
I don't-
spring for the OLED, so he has to
I
go
have a
for
job
this.
to do.
Exactly.
Job. I'm gonna do my job. I'm excited.
So,
My job.
yeah, I'm quite excited. I
Job's not on this show, Lando.
don't. Yeah. Oh, you know,
I pimped the Patreon.
Lando's got a
Owen.
job on this show. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm the Patreon
I was
pimp.
sorry. I'm already at outro. I'm already at outro. It's late.
I know you are. I
But,
was there too for a second.
Yeah, I'm excited for the hardware and the software on this one. I'm very stoked. All right, thanks for listening to us to the end, dear listener. Before you go, Lando's got some Patreon stuff to go over.
So as always, we appreciate you, dear listener, and we will always do this obligation free. For us, we find great joy in talking to each other and talking to you and expressing our opinions about new things such as the Nintendo Switch 2. And we hope that you find value in that, and we will always do it for free. However, if you want, no pressure. If you want to give us some, to give us a tip, if you will, Patreon is the way to do that. And as a way of saying thank you, we will give you rewards as a Patreon listener.
You give him the beep there,
Here he comes.
Tony.
Achoo! Got
He's
it.
trying to sneeze.
Um,
He can't get
for
it.
$1, all kinds of benefits. Super secret Discord, Patreon only, lots of action. I monitor it. I pop in every once in a while. It's great. You get both episodes ad-free early with the in-between included. This week was a bit of an exception, but we still had the end between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already up as of this recording. I already put it up.
Yeah. Go listen to it for $1. It's extra content. If you like Owen, Jared, and Tony,
Shouldn't have let it
maybe
be
me, I don't know. And you want more of us in your earbuds? The in-between's where it's at. For $6 more, you get a special shout out in the air, which is my favorite way of getting Jaron to say whatever the crap you want. Jaron, do that now.
Okay. Thank you to David Broshinsky, Interrupting Cow, Aaron Faulkner, Connor Keesaw. A user interface is like a joke. If you have to explain it, it's not that good.
That's true.
Swampy Palm Tree Cleaner, Jason Eatman. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
In rain.
Jaren.best, be the 8-year-old Kyle.
Jaron
feels
dot
like-
best.
It feels like Lando is trying to start a Patreon cult.
He is.
Jerry Ga Arimasu.
We should.
Do you have diarrhea,
Yes,
Jared? Oh.
always. Pieman Graphics, purveyor of fine geeky stickers. Cursed Gengar 94. Keslo. Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, the in-between rating plus 40. Not sure. DP, I need Lang's love. Wesley, his power level is over NVIDIA's 600 million. Stuart Lloyd, don't judge a book by its movie. And finally, yes, Owen, we do care.
Did you get your sneeze?
No, I got hiccups instead.
Oh, that's not a fair trade.
No.
All right. Thanks for listening to the end. Thanks for enduring the shaming of Lando from Jared.
It started so. Didn't it start so nice though?
It was.
Hey!
It was rough. It was rough.
We love Lando though.
He shut down
do.
3 times.
I do love Lando.
But that's it for us this week.
I love him a lot.
We'll see you next time.
Lando.
Jaron loves Lando.
Love you, Lando.
Love you,
Owen.
too, Jaron.
Owen, take us out.
Hey, we hope you care.